Alright everyone, it's the big one. It's Nvidia's earnings report recap. Here's everything that you need to know. A beat across the board for the quarter, and for guidance, some small misses with some business segments and free cash flow, but nothing too crazy. At the time of making this video, the stock is down 2.76%. Now, like I said, a beat across the board. If we look here, what the analysts were expecting for this quarter, revenue to come in at $28.75 billion, for the next one to be at $31.7 billion, still growing 112% year over year, and for next quarter 75% year over year. Yes, it's true that growth quarter over quarter, something we've talked about before. The quarter over quarter growth is no more 80% or 30% or even 20%. No, it's going to stay at around 10% or so. Nvidia right now has a market cap of just over $3 trillion and a forward PE of 41.8 times. I believe the market was expecting, or is maybe still expecting, a 10% move, meaning a $300 billion move on the upside or the downside. I did a poll here on the community and 61% of you said that it's going to go up 10%. Of course, all the rest said down 10%. Right now, we're basically nowhere. We're flat-ish, down 1% or so. So what exactly has happened? Let's dive into that. The next video will be CrowdStrike. Strong quarter, by the way. Very, very good quarter for CrowdStrike. So stay tuned for that one. Like, subscribe, notification bell on so you don't miss anything. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. So let's start here with some comments first. Hopper demand remains strong and the anticipation for Blackwell is incredible. Nvidia achieved record revenues as global data centers are in full throttle to modernize the entire computing stack with accelerated computing and generative AI. Blackwell samples are shipping to our partners and customers. Spectrum X Ethernet for AI and Nvidia AI Enterprise software are two new product categories achieving significant scale, demonstrating that Nvidia is a full stack and data center scale platform. Across the entire stack and ecosystem, we are helping frontier model makers to consumer internet services and now enterprises. Generative AI will revolutionize every industry. During the first half of fiscal 2025, Nvidia returned $15.4 billion to shareholders in the form of share repurchases and cash dividends. As of the end of the second quarter, the company had $7.5 billion remaining under its share repurchase authorization. On August 26, the board of directors approved an additional $50 billion in share repurchase authorization without expiration. Nvidia will pay its next quarterly cash dividend of 1 cent per share on October 3rd, 2024, to all shareholders of record on September 12, 2024. And so, overall, this is the major overview, again, from our friends at Consensus Gurus. So, beats across the board. Beat revenue, data center, gaming. It did miss professional visualization by 0.2% and automotive and robotics by 1.1%. Gross profit, a beat by 4.6%. Gross margin by 16 basis points. It's lower quarter over quarter. It's now at 75.7%. Operating income is a beat. Operating margin, EPS, all of that is great. Free cash flow, small miss, 0.6%. Then for the next quarter, revenue beat, gross profit beat, and operating income beat as well, all 2.2%. So all in all, pretty good print. Now, what exactly has happened, right? We've talked about Blackwell, the delays there. So what are they saying here? Customers continue to accelerate their Hopper architecture purchases while gearing up to adopt Blackwell. Data center compute revenue was $22.6 billion, up 162% from a year ago and 17% sequentially. Networking revenue was $3.7 billion, up 114% from a year ago, driven by InfiniBand and Ethernet for AI revenue, which includes Spectrum X end-to-end Ethernet platform. Networking revenue sequentially was up 16%, and includes a doubling of Ethernet for AI revenue. We shipped customer samples of our Blackwell architecture in the second quarter. We executed a change to the Blackwell GPU mask to improve production yield. So that's the change. Blackwell production ramp is scheduled to begin in the fourth quarter and continue into fiscal 2026, not calendar year 2026, because this is already second quarter fiscal 2025. So basically, Blackwell production ramp is 2 quarters from now. In the fourth quarter, we expect to ship several $billion in Blackwell revenue. Hopper demand is strong and shipments are expected to increase in the second half of fiscal 2024. So what Jensen basically said last time, right? Billions of dollars in revenue in 2024, it's more going to be in the first half of 2025, right? Fiscal 25, fourth quarter is in calendar year 2025. Moving on here to the results. So on a GAAP basis, revenue came in at $30 billion, up 15% quarter over quarter and 122% year over year. Gross margin 75.1%. That's down 3.3 percentage points quarter over quarter. I'll explain in a second why. Net income, diluted earnings per share, all up 12% quarter over quarter and 168% year over year. As for the different segments, so data center, as we've just seen, up 16% quarter over quarter and 154% year over year. Gaming actually up 16% year over year and 9% quarter over quarter, so that's good. See some reacceleration there. Professional visualization up 6% quarter over quarter and 20% year over year. Automotive up 37% year over year, but just 5% quarter over quarter. And here you can basically see the quarterly trend per segment. Again, just looking at the top line here, the data center, it's nuts. It's really incredible how fast this thing has grown. Remember, back in, I think, Q1 of fiscal year 2023, or maybe it's fiscal year 2022, Q3 or something like that, data center and gaming were about the same. Then, of course, we had a slowdown in gaming, well, slowdown in everything, but gaming really took a hit, as you can see here. Q3 fiscal year 2023, gaming generated just $1.57 billion in revenue. Now we're, well, close to double that. But yeah, data center went from $3.83 billion in Q3 fiscal year 2023 to now $26.27 billion. That's really amazing. Then as for outlook, revenue is expected to be $32.5 billion, so a beat as we've seen. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margin are expected to be 74.4% and 75% respectively. As for gross margin, GAAP and non-GAAP gross margin increased from a year ago, as we've seen, on strong data center revenue growth, primarily driven by their Hopper GPU computing platform. But sequentially, we've seen a decrease, so gross margin decreased primarily driven by inventory provisions for low-yielding Blackwell material and a higher mix of new products within data center. Again, this was something that they already expected. We all expected that. They basically told us already, look, the margins that we had previously were, of course, because of unprecedented times, but don't expect them to stay close to 78% forever. So we're back at 74, 75%. I mean, that's still quite high. And so right now, at the end of the video, again, we've got a swing, but this time on the way down. The stock is now down 4.4% or so, and back at $120, which is exactly where the 20-day moving average is. The 50-day one sits at $116 and the 200-day one at $91. Will we go back under $100? Well, that would be something. We did drop quite close to the 200-day moving average back in beginning of August on that Black Monday. We're not even overbought right now on the weekly, so there is that. On the daily, if we switch to the daily real quick, we're not overbought either. So yeah, RSI is trending down and probably will continue to trend down if we stay the same tomorrow at down 4.something%. So overall, we've got the answers with regards to Blackwell. All in all, the company is still rock and rolling, right? So yeah, it is not the cheapest now that we're seeing the growth rates a bit normalizing, margins normalizing as well. Yes, things might become a bit more expensive. Is this a buy the dip opportunity? If the dip is big enough, in my opinion. Thank God I did not do the earnings gamble for this one. I don't know, maybe tomorrow it might flip and go green. Who knows? But yeah, that's all you need to know right now about Nvidia's quarter. I'll do a separate one with regards to the comments mentioned in the earnings call. Don't forget, next video is going to be CrowdStrike, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, share your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.